And there we are. We've got a screen that doesn't go crazy anymore. Hello everybody, and welcome to My Man the Maker's Broken Stuff channel. Today I went off and I got this TV. I got it because it's got a really unique and fun problem that I'm going to try and fix. And let me show it to you. Let me turn it on. This is a 4K smart TV made by Lucky Gold Star. And if you notice, it's got a bit of a distorted screen problem. So 3 seconds of good signal, and then 3 seconds of crazy signal, and then 3 seconds of good signal, and then 3 seconds of crazy signal. Just like that. So what we're going to try and do today is see if we can't fix that problem using a trick I've learned on YouTube that involves Scotch tape. So what I'm going to do is take the TV apart, see what kind of boards there are inside, and then see if a little piece of Scotch tape won't make this problem go away. So that's the problem for today. A crazy Lucky Gold Star smart TV. And for those of you who care, the model number is 49UH6500. But this problem is super common to the 49-inch series, the 55-inch series, the 32-inch series. It's a common problem with Lucky Gold Star TVs. And I have a feeling that the solution, should I solve this problem, will apply to all of the models. So I want to give you a really clear and simple video on how to address this problem. Now this involves taking the TV apart. So that's what we're going to be doing next, is take the TV apart and see what kind of boards there are inside, and then seeing if cleaning the cables will help first, and if not, then we have to mask off some of the parallel signal connectors, because as you can see, one of these, there should be two cables on the inside. If there is, one of them is injecting a crazy signal into the logic of the panel, and the other one is just fine. So we have to figure out where is that crazy signal coming from and mask it off. So that's the idea. We're going to try and make this Lucky Gold Star 49-inch TV sane again by taking it apart, seeing what's in there, and then trying to mask off some of the source of the crazy signal. The first part of the disassembly is to take these little feet off. They're just held in place by little Phillips head screws. Two of them. They're the same length, so it doesn't matter which one goes where. And it's very difficult to put this leg in improperly because it's got a dual post that fits into this little fitting here. This is labeled A. Looking at the back of the TV, that goes on the left. And then we have B, which looking at the rear of the TV goes on the right. Next thing to do is to undo all of these screws so as to be able to get the back off. There's not that many holding this TV together, really. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's no screws anywhere else along the top. These are for the wall mount. These screws, there's 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have the label on the back of the TV for your information. And this television, I mean, it's crazy. This television was manufactured in August of 2016 and it's not working. I had TVs when I was younger that lasted 20, 30 years. I just can't figure out what might be wrong with this, but that's the way it goes. And then there's an access panel in the back, which I'm just going to open up. Let's see what's in there. A whole bunch of nothing is in there. Nothing. Alright, so we'll put that to the side and undo these. There may be a screw here to undo. Okay. And then we might be able to get this back off. So let me just get the, I'm using a Mazda impact driver I bought as part of my rejuvenating the Mazda drill, which is one of my other videos that you might want to watch. It works great. I bought a drill for $10 because the battery was dead, and when I bought this thing it came with the same battery that's compatible with the drill, so I ended up with the drill and an impact driver for about $35, $45. So I'll just zip out those screws here and let's see what this thing looks like with the back off. One of the first challenges that you're going to encounter when taking this television apart is this little component here. It slides in and it's held in by two screws. They're a little longer than all of the other screws. There are 5 screws that hold this together as far as I can tell. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a little guy up here, 5. And then there's 2 longer screws holding this in, and it slides up. When you slide it up, you're going to expose 2 cables, and those cables need to be detached. And as you can see, I have 2 control cables inside. So that's I think what's going on is this, there's a signal coming through one of these 2 cables that's confusing the TV and needs to be masked off. At least that's the theory for now. So to get at this TV, I may not need to detach those cables, but you have to detach this apparatus from the main body to get the rest of the case off. So just wanted to point that out. As it turns out, those 2 cables need to be detached. So the blue ribbon connects to the interactive the interface for the buttons, and the silver cable connects to the board, whose function is, I'm not exactly sure, but we need to make sure that we don't misconnect. They might be different sizes. It might be impossible to connect them incorrectly, but I thought I would just document that the blue tag cable goes to the joypad, or whatever this thing is called, and the silver tagged cable goes to the integrated circuit board. I have discovered a 6th screw holding the case together lurking in amongst these inputs here. So don't forget to take that out. You won't be able to open the case otherwise. The back is held on with spring clips otherwise that just kind of pop in. You can feel them popping as you lift the case, but if you don't get that screw out, you'll never get the back off. So let me get that screw out and see what happens. Yeah, you see how the back just kind of lifted off there? So that screw is holding it down because I had attempted to open the case. So let's see, just pull up, and this side you should hear it go pop pop. There we go. It's all loose now, and it should just clamshell or maybe clip off. As you can see, I can just lift. So with a little more finessing, I should be able to get this off. Let me get both my hands on there, and let's see what we can find on the inside now. Okay, let's take a little tour of the back of this TV. As well, there's lots of videos online talking about where the components are, but I may as well tell you with this particular model. So we start off here with a speaker. It's 6 ohms, 10 to 14 watts, so it's a little speaker, There's another one on the other side, so you get stereo sound. We have a power connector board. Be very, very careful when manipulating this board, because this component right here can hold power for quite some time after it has been turned off. That is a very hot device, most likely, so watch out, don't get burned. Here's the power coming in, and it's a pretty simple power board. Then we have over here the motherboard, and the thing in the motherboard that tends to go wrong is usually this thing here. That's the main processor, and what goes wrong is that the quality of solder has changed over the years, and they tend to get desoldered with solder cracks because of the way they're mounted. So the fix that I've seen online to repair the problem that I seem to be having is something to do with these two lines here. We have number 1 and number 2, and there are shared signals between 1 and 2. Some small portion of the signal cable. So the way to open this up is you flip with your fingernail. You just flip that up. Be very gentle with these cables because they are extremely delicate. And then you pull the cable out, slide it out, and same goes for cable number 2. Just get your finger under there and pull straight. And out it comes, and you will see that between these two boards there are shared traces, and what we need to do is figure out which traces are shared, and then on the business end of the connector, which is here, we're going to mask off that section of pins and see if our signal to the screen is improved. So what we need to do is figure out which of these traces are shared. So what I might do right here is take a still photograph and outline which ones are shared between these two connectors and need to be masked off. Now, either 1 is making 2 crazy or 2 is making 1 crazy. So through a process of trial and error, what we're going to do is we're going to figure out, in my case, which one of these two is causing the problem. But for you it might be the reverse, depending on which part of your panel has gone a bit cuckoo. The reason why this is a problem with this particular TV is usually in TVs there's 3 boards. There's a power board, like the one we see here. There's a motherboard, and then there's something called a T-Con board, which is a little tiny card that should sit right around here. And in this particular model of TV, the T-Con board is integrated with the panel. Now that means that if you want to repair this TV, you have to change the panel. Or we can try this little fix here to mask out where the crazy signal is coming from, in the hopes of making that craziness go away. So I'm going to take that photograph now and try to show you exactly which pins need to be masked off with Scotch tape. Okay, after some fooling around with Scotch tape on various places on the cables, I have this result. Here we go. Now you'll remember that before, when I turned this TV on, it would go 3 seconds, good picture, 3 seconds, crazy picture, 3 seconds, good picture, 3 seconds, crazy picture. Well, what I did was I started playing with masking off a certain section of one of the cables. It didn't work so good, so then I went after the other cable and I got this result. So it looks like this TV is now repaired, which is great, because I have to tell you that it cost me around 50 bucks to pick up, and I'm pretty happy to get a 4K TV 49 inch for $50, and a piece of Scotch tape, which didn't cost me anything. So what I'll do is I'm going to turn this TV off, put it face down, and show you exactly where I made that change with the Scotch tape, for those of you who want to try to reproduce what I did. So here, let me turn it off, and we'll start with the up-close examination of where exactly I put the Scotch tape, both where it didn't work and where it did work. To test this modification, you must plug in this daughter card because the infrared receiver is probably built into this little silver dome here. That's where the power on indicator is, and you can see the infrared receiver right there. So if you don't plug this in, you can't turn the TV on. So you need to take the TV apart, then reconnect this part. So keep that in mind. Now, in terms of the modification I made, you can probably see, if I flip up this little connector on cable 2, you can see the Scotch tape modification. So let me pull it out and flip it over so you can see exactly where I applied that piece of Scotch tape. And all I did was mask off an approximate area equal to the traces entering the bottom of the board there that come from cable 1. So the problem here is there's an issue inside the panel because there's no T-con board, so that decoding is happening within the panel. Very, very expensive repair. But if you take a piece of tape and you're lucky, and with a little trial and error, because I was messing around with cable 1 for quite a while there, I was able to mask off the crazy signal coming from cable 2 with a little piece of Scotch tape. And it's probably blocking the first 10 or so pins. But you'll notice that the logos, this piece of tape covers all of the traces up to the bottom of the next logo. So maybe that's an easy way to gauge how wide that tape needs to be. I can tell you it's probably under a centimeter, maybe 8 millimeters. It's not a very big piece of tape at all. And that's on cable 2, the side of the cable that heads towards the speaker here. And all I did was put it on and then fold it over, insert it back, make sure that the cable inserts it gets well seated, and you might notice you have a little bit of additional resistance because of that tape, the thickness of the tape, but you'll feel it when it goes in. You even heard a little sound, right? Let's do that again. You might hear the sound, like a little tink. There, it's in, and you'll see that the remaining connector, that stripe of blue, is very, very thin. Then the connector just comes down. To make this a little easier, I move that tape. That tape is extremely sticky, so when you take that tape off, be very, very careful. And of course, I'm going to put it right back now because I don't want these cables going anywhere. So I'll just apply it to the bottom. And all that's going to do is just to kind of hold everything in place so nothing moves around. Make sure these guys are all feeling good. Okay, and now in one uninterrupted shot, I'm going to lift the TV, have Mrs. Maker turn on the power, and demonstrate to you that that was the fix. A little piece of tape. So I'm going to hand her the camera. Stay here. It's okay. I'll take the camera when I've lifted the TV. goes the TV. I'll take the camera now. Okay, there's a camera. She turns on the power. I pass Mrs. Maker the camera back, and we see if that tape still works. No distortion. So it's either going to be the top of cable 1 or the bottom of cable 2 when you're looking at the TV with the speakers pointed towards the bottom. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to reassemble the TV, and we're going to try it in its proper orientation on a desktop and see if it stays this way. But my suspicion is the TV is now repaired. So for those of you who have a Lucky Gold Star television that's acting a bit crazy, I hope that this repair really helps you out. If you have any questions about how I did this, please comment. I would love it if you would subscribe, because I'm trying to build my subscriber base. I really enjoy doing these videos, and when you subscribe it encourages me. And I'd like to be able to do more of these videos. It's easier to do them when I know I have targeted the right kind of videos that people like. And here we are. It's been about an hour, and I'd like to just show you the fruits of my research and labor. Let's take this remote and hit power. And there we are. We've got a screen that doesn't go crazy anymore. So I'm pretty happy about that. Got to tell you that this fix was, I think the hardest part of the fix was just identifying which cable needed to get its signal blocked, and then it all kind of worked out. So it took a little bit of trial and error. I was messing around with the wrong cable for a little while there. And it's a hassle to pick up the TV, turn it on, test, put it down, take it apart. But like I said, just a bit of trial and error, and then you'll get results like this for yourself. So for all of you who are having this type of problem, the methodology is to take the TV apart, figure out which of the two ribbon cables is inserting scrambled information in the shared traces. So what you have to do is figure out where the traces are duplicated between the two ribbon cables and mask off one and then the other. And in my case, it worked out great, and now my TV is working just fine. So I'm happy to show this to you, and I hope that the results that I achieved are the results that you get. Best of luck. Take care, and keep making. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please consider subscribing, giving me a like, and leaving me a comment. I really enjoy making these videos, and I want to know from you how I can make them better. The whole point of these videos is to demonstrate that if I can do something, you can do it too. Well, that's it for now. So long, and remember, keep making.